Becky Weir. I just moved to Kentucky in June, and from Washington, D.C. I was a federal employee, got fired from USAID for International Development in January. I'll say my question, and then I'll provide a little context. What are you doing, and what can we do to make sure that the voices of the most vulnerable people in Kentucky are still able to be heard, consolidated, and represented? Because so my office at USAID worked in complex political crises. When governments are taking over, repressive regimes, natural disasters that overturn the whole political paradigm. And the playbook is to keep people poor, hungry, and stupid.
Yeah.
That's what they are doing. It's also to undermine the institutions that have the experts that can represent with facts those people's stories. Those institutions, even here, I was horrified to learn, University of Kentucky is bowing down. I'm sorry to say it that way, but
No, it's true.
No.
And so are hospital systems, so are law firms. They are going down and degrading the ability, instilling fear in those employees who care. Those are the employees that care about those vulnerable people. They are seeing the effects, they have the stats, they have the facts. Their voices are being repressed. So how are we going to make sure that people outside this room who don't have the time to go on social media and find you guys, don't have the time to come to town halls, and are also really proud, because that's something I've definitely learned in being here for 9 months. Kentuckians are very proud.
Yes.
So if you're hungry and if you're sick, you're gonna tell your family about it, but are you gonna scream it from the rooftops in your community that I'm struggling? Probably not. And so communities need to hear from each other that they're all struggling. Communities need to hear those stories, and they also need to be able to have somebody amplify that and connect that directly to policy. So how can we do that? How are you doing that?
That's a really good question. I'm gonna give it a go. And I'm sorry about the loss of your job, and I don't even know what else to say, but I'm sorry. I think speaking to that, to the job losses, and what are we gonna do to make sure that more people aren't going hungry, and to make sure that we are doing the things to protect our workers. The governor actually has a new jobs program that will help the federal workers who are have been impacted by Doge, that dumb, fake office department. I don't know what else to call it. But I think supporting the governor's federal work program would be helpful. People may not know about it, so I think it's incumbent on all of us, those of us sitting up here, but also you all who have taken the time to come out and to let other people know about those, that specific program. The other thing is, I think it is just incredibly powerful and important that we take, we're activists, you all are activists, we've got to pair that with doing the work, figuring out how I know all of you all are doing things, and how do we get more people involved? Then also, how do we pair that with making sure that people are informed and understand the policies? I will tell you, I take every phone call that I can, every meeting that I can, I do the social media, put out information, and trying everything I can to make sure that people know, my constituents, but also others, they know what is happening, and the actual impact of the bills. And one of the things that is difficult for us as well is during session, we're getting bills, as Ann said earlier, we don't know what's in a committee sub until it literally pops up on our screen. And you'll see us, we're frantically scrolling through the bill to see what's.
How many staffers do y'all have for your department?
We share staff.
Including two
Yeah, I was
right here.
what do we have to have, 5 of you? 7 total. 6, okay, 6. Sean, Stacy. So we have a very, very small staff in the caucus. they are incredible. But I think one of the main things that we need to do is to make sure that you, I, me, everybody in this room, we're doing, not only are we being activists, but we're pairing that with information and trying to share the knowledge. I think I kind of went around my elbow to try and say that, but I don't know, I'm not sure what else we can do.
I would encourage us to keep being vocal too, even if we don't like them, our representatives in DC as well, because they don't like getting thousands of phone calls and thousands of emails, because then they start to get worried. I saw an article yesterday that RFK Jr. is planning to hire back tens of thousands of people that were going to get laid off from HHS. So they are realizing that the fire is there for some repercussions, them politically and electorally, hopefully. I think it was going somewhere else with that, but now I've kind of lost it. But anyway, I'd say be the squeaky wheel for our federal delegation as well too, because we just saw, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, where the Senate voted against the Canadian tariffs? It's a small gesture, but some of the Republicans are starting to realize that this is terrible, and my district will lose jobs, our district will lose money, and hopefully they will be bullied into doing the right thing.
And I'll say one of my very passive-aggressive ways, one of the things that I did when I had a primary election but no general opponent, so I used that interim to meet with our local officials as well as our federal officials. So I had a relationship with Andy Barr's staff. And so every time anyone has emailed me an issue about something that's going on federally, I forward it to his chief of staff, and with a note of, this is for you. Which is just a little passive-aggressive reminder of do the right thing. As far as communications, one of the things that I try to do on my communications from a political standpoint is I try to focus on state issues and things that I have control over. That said, I do work with other groups, some of whom are in this room, to try to feed content to them. If I see an issue going on, we had a great rally for the Fayette County Dems, had a wonderful rally a couple of months ago. Has it been 2 months? February. Where we had a young man who was an 1890s scholar at the K-State University, specializing in agricultural expertise, and his scholarship was cut. And he spoke out about it, and he came to that event. So I had seen it because I happen to know his parents and was able to connect the dots. His story ended up being incredibly well received. He did get his scholarship back, at least for the year. He did not get his internship back, but he is also a senior. So they don't know what's going on moving forward. But marrying those personal examples with the policy is exactly the direction that we as Democrats need to be going.
All right, so we got time for one